see. They're all crazy, they're not like me. I am alone and I can't get singular. So now on with the Mingler.
All right, well, welcome to the first episode of The Mingler. It's a podcast about dating.
Welcome.
My name's Brian.
I'm Gabby.
And we're both experts in dating, I think. I think that's fair to say. I've personally been on about 5 first dates, and maybe 2 second dates. So, I got a little experience to share. I got some tricks.
I've been on.
That's fine. We don't have to go into that. And what really matters, though, is not so much the quantity of the dates, but the quality. And I'd say I'm a pretty good dater, right, Gab?
Yeah, pretty good.
I mean,
No, you're good. You're excellent.
Cool, yeah. You and I have been on 5 dates at least.
No, like 15 or 20 maybe.
Yeah, 15 or 20 official dates.
Yeah.
We still go on dates every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to do at the ripe old age of 27 and 26 is you got to still
Keep
charm
the
them.
romance alive.
Yeah, you got to put in some effort. As we speak, since we only have one microphone, we're about 3 inches apart, which is kind of romantic in a way.
Yeah.
So what's new in the? We'll start with a little dating news, because I think that's a way to keep it hip, keep it relevant.
What's happening?
Well, I just typed in dating into Google, and I found this article on Vanity Fair entitled "Barack and Michelle Obama's First Date: Looking Back on the Summer of '89."
Wait, is that a picture of them?
No,
no, it's from a movie.
That's that's.
From Southside with you, Tika Sumter and Parker Sawyers.
To be fair, the guy looks a little bit like
Yeah,
Barack Obama. But, it says that their first date, and obviously they're a power couple. As far as power couples go, they're a power couple.
So what was their first date?
Their first date was they went to the Art Institute.
Oh.
They were visiting the Art Institute of
that's
Chicago.
a great museum.
You've been there?
Mm-hmm. I've been there multiple times. It's excellent.
Did you go there solo or did you go on a date?
No, I wasn't there on a date. I was there with my family once and then my sister.
That sounds all right.
Yeah. No, it was great. It was great. They have really good art.
So they saw some good art,
Mm-hmm.
and then they saw a screening of Do the Right Thing, the Spike Lee movie. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
It's about racial unrest in Brooklyn. That's very, wow.
yeah,
Cool.
you never heard of Do the Right Thing?
No.
Oh, we rented it from the library about 4 times. We never watched it.
Oh, really?
We'll get around to it.
Okay.
We'll make a date out of it. So that's pretty good. But, personally, especially for a first date, I don't like to do a movie.
Well, what Michelle said that he was trying to show her his sophisticated side by selecting an independent filmmaker.
Oh,
so that was
yeah.
the motivation.
Yeah, and in 1989, I mean, who knew Spike Lee? That was like his first movie.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know, maybe like his second. What do I know about movies? I only know about dating. But like I was saying, I personally don't think that a movie is a great first date. What do you think, Gab?
Yeah. I think it's okay maybe if you go to dinner first and then go see the movie because then it gives you a chance to maybe like hold hands or put your arms close to each other after the dinner if you've gotten along. But you got to talk first. You can't just go straight into the movie.
You got to get to know them. And see, I personally, and here's, we're going to roll right into our dating trick of the week.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Do something exciting on your first date. Do something physical that gets your blood pumping.
Yeah. On our first date, we went skiing.
How magical was that?
Amazing.
So something like skiing, if the season permits, of course, or maybe go to a rock climbing gym is always a really good one.
Yeah, maybe like go to the beach and go stand up paddleboarding.
Yeah, stand up paddleboarding, and then you get all wet and you're kind of naked, and
Brian.
you never know what'll happen out there on the open ocean.
I am a fan of just dinner though too. Like that's good because I like food. So it's like
Yeah, but then you're like chomping food and like
I don't care.
I don't know.
Some people are self conscious about that, but I'm like, well, no.
Yeah, I mean, if eating food leads to eating other things, right?
Brian, no. I'm talking about strictly food.
Yeah, sure.
And then you can go get ice cream afterwards.
And that's romantic. You can share a cone.
You can lick. Sorry,
Gabby. That was you were getting a little colorful there anyway.
What? No.
Okay, well, sure, I'll take your word for it. So Yeah, so we went skiing and that worked well.
It was pretty good, but I don't know. It was pretty risky, I think, because we spent a good like 4 to 6 hours together.
Right.
And like, what if what if it sucked and you just wanted to get away and like you came up there in one car together?
Well, that's the thing is with skiing, you're not always like, going down the same runs all at the same time.
No, that's true, but you still have to like
get down the mountain.
Yeah. Deal with the person.
Well, we were in Santa Fe too, and Ski Santa Fe is really close to the city. I think, if you're like in LA and you're going to like even Mountain High is like hours away, or like God, you can't do Big Bear on a first date.
No, we're like really close to each other right
physically.
now. It's really weird.
Well, that's what we're working with.
I can smell your breath. You're eating guacamole for lunch with lots of garlic.
That's another key to podcast success is make sure you got a lot of garlic in your diet.
Yeah, garlic's good for you.
Okay, so but that's what we're working with. This is like some Spike Lee, independent status podcasting right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about racial issues maybe in the future. That's something that's important.
Yeah.
So what was great about skiing is it got the blood flowing, and neither of us were exceptionally good at the beginning of that season. And, we had the opportunity to ski a lot together, and kind of like develop this romance. And it was also challenging too. That's the other thing is skiing's like, it's not easy. It's like risky and, falling in front of, someone on a first date.
You had to help me up at one point, and I was like really embarrassed.
But it worked out well because we, it was like so easy to break the contact.
You were so patient though too.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that good. I think Gabby thought I was a lot better at skiing than I was when we started.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It was risky. It was dangerous. It got her blood flowing, and then it was like every time I thought about her, I thought about like the cool air blowing in my face and the exhilaration of going down the mountain. So, that's the trick of the week is do something exhilarating on your first, and that's just something you read online everywhere. And it worked out for us.
It's a good tip.
Yeah, a good tip, a good test, a good way to get stuff going. So on that note, we're going to go right into our first story. So maybe I should explain the podcast. The concept of the Mingler is dating in the 21st century, whether you're meeting online or, meeting in more traditional ways. It's just the modern dating field, and just stories, tricks, tips, and news about dating in the modern age. Yep. Dating in the cities and dating, online, and hopefully, we'll get some more stories.
Yeah, so each episode will feature someone's story, a dating story.
Yeah, and we'll try to get new, interesting stories every time from different perspectives. I have a feeling it's mostly going to be bad dating stories because I think those are the funniest, but you never know. Maybe we'll get like some celebrities and get some like, in the future we'll get some like great dating stories like, who's that blonde lady that you like so much who's married to that guy who's on that commercial?
Oh, Kristen Bell.
Yeah, and Dax Shepard.
Yeah.
We'll get them on the show in the future, and we'll get their first date.
You like her too. It's not just me.
Yeah, no, she's cool. She's cool. We'll get her on. We'll see. Okay. You never know what things will happen.
We should get H3H3.
Ethan and Hila. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, because we're hopefully moving back to LA too soon. Yeah. But enough about us. Let's go into our first story. So, we're gonna keep everything anonymous to begin with, just because it's kind of fair.
Pseudonym?
Well, no, I don't think we're going to need to, but I think it's more fair to keep it anonymous because we're only representing one side of the dating story, and there's always two sides. Yeah. But to be fair, this girl's pretty reliable, and I believe, I think her narration of the date is probably pretty trustworthy. Yeah. Another thing to note is this girl's good looking.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's like a model.
Yeah, so I don't know how relevant that is, honestly, because people of all different looks are going to go dating, and everyone's dates are valid. It doesn't matter if you're like whatever.
We're for the body positivity movement, so everyone's body is valid.
Yeah, we're definitely into that, and we'll actually be talking about that a little later in the episode. But enough rambling. We're gonna go into our first story, which is called The Trollman.
I once went on a date with this guy. I got out of a really long-term relationship and hadn't dated in a long time. Had never done online dating before. So being in this awkward, uncomfortable position, the first person I chose to go on a date with was somebody who I had kind of met in real life before. I kind of just knew enough about him to know that he seemed intriguing. So we exchanged a few messages. We had a conversation about bread.
Good places I can find a hearty loaf of bread.
Our first date ended up being fairly typical. We were just going to meet for drinks one evening. He ended up coming about an hour late, but he did text me. And he said he was going to be late because he had been on a hike that day.
LOL, really long hike. Frowny face.
And I thought, well, sure, of course. I mean, if it were me, if I went on a hike, I wouldn't want to have to rush and be all sweaty and gross and then meet this person for a date. I'd want to go home and take my time, get cleaned up. Texted me then once he got there and said, there's a grubby hiker standing out in your driveway. I thought he was being cute, but he was being serious. He did not go home and change his clothes. He was wearing a baseball cap that had like the salty rim from like dried sweat. And I somehow overlooked all of this. Maybe I was just lonely because of the end of this relationship. Now, in retrospect, I look back and I don't know why I was so excited about meeting this guy. There was nothing that I really should have been excited about. Not only was he super short and I'm pretty tall, he was also bald and had a beard that had just kept getting bigger and was kind of to the point of it being a little unruly. We went out for drinks, and somehow I was still enjoying myself.
Salute.
And getting to know him, talked about his mom and his family.
So, any siblings? I got an older
I was
brother.
still having a pretty good time, and I thought, I might like this guy. He asked what I wanted to do next as we were outside of the bar and walking toward the car. I had remembered that my roommate had company over, this guy that she had just started dating, who seemed very friendly. He was an actor from LA. I thought, well, if we don't want to be out and we want to still have some more drinks, we could just go to the house and hang out with them. We stopped for some beers on the way to my house, and when we walked out to the car with the beer, he just turned around all of a sudden and kissed me. And I thought it was okay. I wasn't expecting it, but I was having a good time and I didn't have a problem with it. So we got to the house and he unbuckles his seatbelt and then just leans over and starts kissing me again. And it was just weird. He was so anxious about it. We were outside of my house. We were at the house. So it was a little bizarre, but again, it wasn't all bad. So we go inside. My roommate is so excited. It's oh my gosh, now she gets to meet him. And her dude was excited because he was at the house when I was getting ready. And he was teasing me about going on this big date. And so here I am. I show up with this grubby, short, balding hiker with a crazy, Viking beard. I have no idea what this actor from LA is thinking about my taste in men at this point. We had just gotten there, and we were kind of trying to figure out our next move. So I was just going to grab my phone so I could put some music on. And I said, hey, I'll be right back. And I ran into my room, and I grabbed my phone off my bed, and I turned around, and he was right there with one hand closing the door, and his eyes, locked on me.
Hey there.
And I, again, just was caught off guard and kind of went with it. Pushes me sort of onto the bed, and in one fell swoop takes off my pants and my underwear and my shirt, and everything is completely gone. The light, the overhead light, the main light in the bedroom is on. He's fully clothed, and I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, not even laying down, and I'm completely naked at this point. And I'm a little uncomfortable, but again, I'm trying to justify what's happening in my mind, and maybe this is how dating works. So I just kind of go along with it, and since I'm naked now, I don't want to be the only one naked. So I was well, I guess I'll take his clothes off. And that's when I saw it. He had a micro penis, to put it plainly. It was more than just a micro penis. It was some kind of, it's a piece of gnarled wood. And I don't know if he had been in an accident or if he was born this way, but I just couldn't do it. I had to do something. I had to say something. I had to get out of this situation. I mean, I'm a really nice person. I don't know how other people would have handled this. I couldn't just tell him, oh, sorry, now that I see that you don't really have a penis, I'm not going to have sex with you. So I was like, oh, well, I don't have any condoms, and that's totally reasonable to not want to sleep with somebody who doesn't have a condom. So I'm like, do you have a condom? And he says, no. Oh, yeah, I don't either. Sorry. And he says, well, I don't have anything other than HPV.
HPV.
So at that point, I just said, yeah. And we're now naked, still not even in my bed, just on top of my bed with the light on. He says, I think I'm too tired to drive home.
Would it be okay if I spent the night?
And I didn't know what to say. But at that point, I think that falling asleep and just forgetting that he was there sounded pretty nice. So I told him it was fine. He could stay. Luckily, I had plans in the morning with a friend, and so I kind of had to nudge him and wake him up, and I said, hey, I got to get going. My friend's coming to pick me up. You got to get out of here. So he gets up and he gets out of bed, and I walk him to the door. I give him a hug goodbye, and his parting words to me were, well, I think this was a pretty good first date. Do you want to see me again?
Oh my God, so weird.
Yeah, well, that's the dating world, Gab. You've been out of it for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
That's what you're missing out on.
Yeah.
So we're talking about body positivity before the interview and then go on to just make fun of this guy's gnarled penis. But, I don't know if it got across in this conversation, but he, and Gab, tell me if it kind of came across. His kind of like coerciveness, him being a little...
Yeah, it's not, I mean...
It's not...
I've never really had a situation like that. Maybe like once. And we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah, on another episode. But what I'm saying is it's less about the size of the boat and about more how shitty the captain is.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but that's still a factor. But even if he had a quote unquote normal stuff, penis, then
you can say it. Maybe you should say it a couple times just get used to it.
I can say penis.
You sure
We used to play that game where in class where you had to say it. You started out really quiet and then you had to start saying it louder.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's a classic. That's a classic schoolyard game.
No, but it's weird. It's like weird and like rapery to me. Like it's creepy. So putting the whole dick thing aside, like even if everything was totally quote unquote normal, it was just weird.
Yeah, and in conversation with this young lady, I don't know if it came across in the conversation we recorded, but she wasn't really interested in hooking up with this guy to begin with. And I think for him to put her in a situation like that is pretty shitty. But, maybe this is a technique that this guy has developed over time
to deal with his issue.
Yeah.
Instead of hiding it. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird too. When I hear this story, so I've heard it a few times now, what I think of is like a movie. Like he sees people in movies who like unbuckle their seatbelt and start kissing the person next to them. And it's like he's going through these motions that he thinks are romantic, like of things that he has seen before. But it just turns out really awkward in real life.
Yeah. I mean, we could always speculate what's going on in his head, but I do know on my less successful dates, I've personally tried to cultivate this sort of like cinematic romantic thing and you can't really force that. And honestly, like the best dates that I've been on, like the ones that I've been on was on with you mostly, were really like kind of laid back and not so much about it being romantic.
Yeah,
or having
he was really trying to
game.
force it.
Yeah, more just about having fun,
Yeah.
Like you meet a
but
cool
you know what
lady.
I'm saying though about him? Like it's weird. Like it's like he got this idea of how he was supposed to act and enacted it. That's a feeling I got.
But at the same time, it's also hard, man. Breaking that contact barrier and that first smooch is like pretty hard. It's hard to to be the guy and to have to take the initiative and be like, oh man, when do I plant one on this lady?
But like with us, we kind of like both knew the first time we kissed, like you wouldn't say that you just had to do everything, right? Like we both kind of.
Should we describe it a little bit, or is this like gross? Do people not care about this?
No, yeah, let's not describe
it. Okay, well, long story short,
a part in it.
We both had a part in it.
Yeah.
I mean, we both signed the contract.
You definitely made more of like the first move, but you knew that I was interested.
But not everyone is not everyone is that perceptive, and B, not everyone has the has like the skills. Stop trying to smooch me. We're recording
I
a
know.
podcast.
I just want to kiss you. We're so close.
So, God, yeah. It's the same thing when I did the interview with her.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
I know,
I'm just
I
kidding.
know.
But yeah, A, not everyone is as perceptive as, I am, and B, not everyone projects, has those kind of social skills to project how they feel,
Yeah,
putting
they
out
need
that
to figure it out. They need to like get some social skills.
Well, I guess that's what dating is, and that's what the mingler's all about, getting out there, mixing, mingling, and figuring it out.
Well, what the weirdest part I think is the last thing he said. It's like, what made him think that was a good date? That she didn't freak out about his penis?
Yeah, or it might just be like that's what you say at the end of a date.
Oh,
like that's kind of the script. You say, "Hey, it was fun, I hope to see you again," even if. And something that actually got chopped out of this conversation was he didn't make an attempt to call her back again.
Yeah, that's true. He could have.
But maybe he was a little more perceptive than we're giving him credit for.
Yeah,
but
or he wanted her to call him to show him that she actually did like him. Yeah,
so for all of his faults, maybe he was perceptive enough to know that she wasn't into him or whatever. And that's what dating is. You're not always gonna... What do you mean we'll see?
I don't know. Maybe she'll run into
We're getting
again.
him on the next episode. I mean, that would be cool, honestly. I would love to get two sides of the conversation. But, we're not going to reach out to him. And... I'm not really expecting this to be like the next Serial, so I don't think he's gonna like hear about it. But we're getting some more interviews lined up, and I think it's gonna be fun to hear different people's.
But just in case you are listening, Trollman, you can contact us
via, I guess, Gmail. I'll create an email account, theminglershow@gmail.com. If it's not available, I'll just bleep that out and, whatever. Good luck finding us. Tweet at me. Or, if you're listening to this first episode, you probably know one of us on Facebook.
Yeah, but I don't think Trollman knows us.
No. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so if somebody, so a year from now, we're super famous, contact me at theminglershow@gmail.com. Okay, so on to our next little segment of the show. Something that came up in conversation but didn't actually make it into the interview was the way that this young lady described her date's penis. A term she used was animal-like.
Oh.
And that actually, because I took some biology classes in college, and I learned a lot about different animal penises. And it's actually a lot more diverse and interesting than you would think. I think a lot of people assume that all penises sort of look the same.
Uh-huh. I have no idea.
They don't. In fact, just a fun fact about the human penis is every primate and almost every single mammal has what's called a baculum, which is a bone in the penis. Humans are the only primate and one of the only mammals that doesn't have a baculum.
But you can still break your penis because you can break the cartilage.
You can break your penis, Gad. How about that? So so what we're going to do is I have a few animal penises, images of animal penises here. Yeah, and Gabby doesn't know about this. I'm going to show Gabby these different animal penises, and she's going to describe them first off, and then she's going to try and guess what animal they belong to. Okay, so this is our first contestant.
This is a good little game. Oh my god, what the fuck is
that?
So it looks like a little maggot larva.
Okay, yeah, so you want to give us a little more detail?
Oh, I don't like it.
Well, okay, first of all, what's it
attached to? It looks like a dog's penis.
But does it really look like a dog's penis?
No. It looks like a tampon.
Yeah?
Like it's like white, the part that's coming out.
Yeah.
And it looks like... You know those tiny OB tampons that you have to push up yourself? I use those ones.
Yeah, sure.
That don't have as much packaging. Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Okay, and then what about like this little piece?
And then it has like a wormy, big like foreskin thing around the bottom, coming out of a tube attached to the body with lots of hair and little bumps all over it. I don't know what that is.
Very scientific. All right, so do you want to know what animal that is? That was a rat. That's a rat's penis.
Oh my god. And there's a ruler next to it.
So I mean, what are these units? That's got to be millimeters, right?
Yeah.
So it's about a millimeter and a half.
Wait, which part are we measuring? The girth or the length?
That's one of the great questions of our time. All right, well, let's just move on.
Okay.
So here's contestant number 2.
This is oh my god. What?
All right, so do you want to describe so there's a little bit of the animal in the frame of this
That
one.
looks like a gooey duck.
The penis itself?
Yeah.
All right, so here, describe
It's
a little bit of the
huge.
features. Yeah.
Or it looks like an arm without like skin on it, or like really, really pale red skin, like a hairless dog's arm. It's like really long.
Yeah, and then what
It
about?
looks like an extra foot, and the bottom looks like a mushroom.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's like a taper or something.
Yeah, correct. We got a winner. That's a tapir's penis.
Yeah.
And,
Why
as far
is it so big? It's huge.
I don't know actually. I know it as a fun fact that it's like one of the largest penis to body
Oh my
ratios
God, I've never seen anything
within
like that.
mammals.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
How'd you know that one?
Well, because you can see the legs and the stomach in the picture.
Yeah, and the legs, it kind of has.
Yeah, it has those little white dots on it.
Yeah, white dots, and
Yeah,
they
I
kind of
know.
look like pig legs.
I know some animals.
I'm just trying to describe it to the
Oh,
listeners.
thank you.
All right, so next up, here we go.
Which part is the penis?
These parts.
Oh my god, Brian, where'd you get this stuff?
I'm subscribed to the newsletter.
Oh my god. I don't know. This one makes me feel sick. This one looks like imitation crab from a sushi roll.
It almost has so there's 2 masses to it.
Holy shit! It's a snake?
It's a snake, yeah. Because you
Yeah.
can see a little bit of the snake body there, but
Oh my god!
it almost looks like 2
They have
like
2 penises.
I don't know enough about. I maybe should have done a little bit of research here. No, I don't really know a lot about reptiles, but it looks like, yeah, it has 2 kind of. They look like sea urchins.
They're like sea urchins,
Yeah,
but,
or sea
but
anemones,
it's like
I don't
this
know.
really lightish pinkish white color that looks like imitation crab.
Yeah, and
in
it's
sushi.
very wet and glistening.
Yeah.
And it's attached to a snake. All right,
Oh wow.
so that one's a snake penis. 4th up.
Oh, that's disgusting.
All right, you
That
want to
look-
describe
yeah.
this one?
So the base of it looks like a human penis.
Yeah, like the shaft.
The shaft. But then the end looks like some weird alien creature's head, because it has like these 4 little protrusions
it looks
coming
almost
off
like
with holes.
fingerless glove.
Yeah, it looks like
Like
four.
a
Four
like a fingerless
finger-
glove
yeah.
on the end of a big pink.
Yeah, is that like a buffalo?
No, you're probably not going to guess this one, so I'm going to show you the reveal.
What is that?
This is called an
Echidna?
Echidna. Are you familiar with that
It's
animal?
an anteater.
It's a spiny anteater.
Oh
is
my god,
like
it's
the
really
common.
cute, except for its penis is hanging down and it's creepy.
Yeah, it looks like a kind of large mole
Yeah,
or
it
like
looks like
any
a
kind of
mole, yeah.
large
Yeah,
like underground mammal.
that's like I don't know.
All right, so we only got a couple more.
Okay.
You think you can stomach
yeah,
this?
I think. I don't know what's. Huh? Okay, this one's not that bad. That's just like a big whale's penis, right?
This is actually a shark. It's not. This one's kind of a trick one. It's not quite a penis, but it's a shark's sexual protrusion.
Oh.
And to describe it, it almost looks like
Looks like little chicken legs.
yeah, or like it looks almost like 2 cat legs stretched straight back. If like a cat was swimming underwater.
It totally does.
Because it's 2 kind of tapered cones, and then at the very end,
little nub.
little nubs,
Looks
but
like
it
little
almost looks like it
paws.
has little cat little
Paws.
cat pads, little cat
Yeah,
fingers.
it does. That's weird.
Yeah, so that's
So are
called
there
a
2 holes that they put it into in the female?
I really should have done. I was just looking up weird animal penises. It's called a clasper. I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
anything about it.
Okay, next one.
Okay, so this is our final one, number 6.
Is that
well,
a cow?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's like a gorilla or something.
No, it's not a gorilla. Maybe I
No.
should describe the picture a little bit. So it's a close up of a not so high resolution photo to begin with. So if you're familiar with that very famous photo of Sasquatch, it looks almost like the one where he's looking back over his shoulder. It looks a lot like that, but if it was not just if it was not a picture of Sasquatch, but a close up of his dick.
What?
And so it's kind of black fur with some sort of fleshy protrusion, and
Yeah,
kind of
looks like looks
pixelated
like a
grass in the
penis.
background. It
Yeah.
does look like a penis.
Mhm,
Well,
human penis, yeah.
You would be wrong.
Oh my god,
because
it's so cute. It's a is it a female
Hyena.
yeah. Oh my god, it's so cute. And that's really the clitoris?
Yeah, it is. So the female
Oh, it's so cute.
the female hyenas.
Is that a baby?
Yeah, it sure
Oh
looks
my
like it. It's a cute
gosh.
baby hyena. You know, if we ever do a website or anything for the show,
this
we'll
stuff
post the
up.
photos up.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
But if you type in like hyena penis, this will be like one of the first 10 results, and
So
it's
I mean, it's not really a penis.
it's not really a penis. It's the enlarged
Yeah,
clitoris that the urethra actually runs down.
Yeah,
it runs
so it
through.
kind of like functions in a similar way
Yeah.
to a penis, but it
And-
doesn't have semen coming out of it.
Exactly. And from what I remember from like my biology classes is that the hyena societies, or maybe this like subspecies or species of hyena, is it's a maternal society. So the highest ranking members of society are females.
Yeah.
And the way they assert their dominance over males and other females is they mount them. Their clitoris becomes enlarged with blood, as similar to humans. But it becomes erect, and then they actually penetrate
The butthole.
the anuses of other hyenas as an act of
You
dominance.
sounded like Kevin from The Office. The butthole.
So that's an interesting thing. And if we're gonna get all political, you can throw that fun fact out to anyone who wants to argue, the rigidity of gender in
Patriarchal,
nature, or
yeah.
sex and gender in nature, because you have, what is quote unquote genetically female that has a penis-like protrusion that gets erect that they can use to penetrate other animals.
Yeah, it shows the fluidity and the spectrum of gender and sex.
Right. And at the same time, another fun fact you can't really see here is that their labia is large and fused and pendulous, almost like a pair of testes.
Oh, weird.
It's a really interesting in terms of, not only in terms of gender, but just more broadly in terms of, different social structures and in the animal kingdom, the hyenas are really interesting. So there you have it. We spent the last 15 minutes talking about animal penises that you can't see. And that's the end of our show. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
If you have any questions or crazy dating stories, hold on to those. Keep them in your hat, because we don't have a website or an email or anything set up, but hopefully we'll have one soon. And, if you have any suggestions, tell me in person or write me a letter. You know where I live. So this is Brian and
Gabby.
signing out. Love ya. Hope all your dates go well, and hope you find true love.